Hi, I'm George Celios from Fine Scale Miniatures, and you are watching What's Neat This Week with Ken Patterson.
Who we got tonight? Look at that, I got Mikey here. Got Joshua.
Hello, hello.
Hello. And Gene Slavin's running camera for us tonight. Hey, Gene. Awesome to have you. Where's my notes? All right. We've done this before.
Once or twice.
You think?
I think. All right.
All right, guys, let's have some fun.
Okay.
All right.
Gene, give us a countdown, please.
3, 2, 1.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you.
Additional support is provided by Spring Creek Model Trains, your destination for model trains. Stop in and say, wow. Check out their website at springcreekmodeltrains.com.
Further support is provided by Microengineering, keeping you on track with quality products for 55 years. Check out their website at www.microengineering.com. Order from your local dealer or order direct by calling 1-800-462-6975. Additional support is provided by Yelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at yelsma.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 182 for January 15th, 2022. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, and this week it snowed, guys.
It sure
How
did.
How beautiful was that? Best hobby in the world with some of our favorite people sitting at the table tonight. First of all, I've got Mike Buddy. Hey, Mike.
Hi, everybody.
It's awesome to have you tonight. I've also got Sugar Fire Joshua Barton.
What's up, everybody?
And, of course, we've got Gene Slavin, running camera for us tonight. Hey, Gene, say hi. Hi. It's awesome to have you. Gene and Mike know each other going way back through high school, and it was wonderful that she showed up and you guys conversed tonight.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the show, is we are all friends, and it's wonderful when we get to make contacts like that.
Right.
So without further ado, I do mention that it did, in fact, snow this week. Our first snow here in the Midwest, I would say.
Yep.
And it was very beautiful out there to see all the grays, all the colors, to wake up to that just new, fresh whiteness that makes everything pure. Of course, the rail fans, were out today in... they were shooting a lot of rail fan pictures, according to Facebook. I've seen a lot of snow shots. Right. And that's something I want to bring up, too, is we got an email this afternoon from Jimmy Potberg that said he's got plans of the Kirkwood Depot, and in fact, that model is now being designed.
All right.
It's going to be available in N scale, HO scale, and O scale.
Wow.
So that is going to be fabulous, and that so many people have tried to scratch build that structure,
Right.
the famous stone Kirkwood Railroad Station right there.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be available 3D printed
Nice.
for all of us modelers, which is going to be a lot easier, right?
Who's going to be the first person to do all of Kirkwood? I can't wait to find out.
I know, right? Now, the Garden Railroad, I'm actually, quite honestly, it's 20 years old, and I'm toying with the idea of maybe filling it in and just getting rid of it at some point. But the deer really did a number on me this week, guys. They usually step over it like a cat, but not this week. This week, they kind of really ripped it up and pulled out a lot of different... it's just messed up. So I'm about to give up on that project. I know I've got a lot of locomotives here, and it's 20 years old again. But at some point, you got to decide when to cut your losses. And I'd like to really focus on the inside layout. It's going on better than 14 years old, and I think I could make a lot of improvements, a lot of new modules, and create a lot of new content for the What's Neat show.
Yeah, sounds like a good
which
time.
I think people would be very interested in seeing. Another great thing that happened this week was George Bogatiuk and Krissy came by on Sunday, and in fact, Jean was here for that as well. She got to meet George and Krissy, and it was really fun. What a great couple. I mean, you saw them on the RPM show when we had them here in St. Louis this past July, and they were absolutely wonderful on the show. But it was a breath of fresh air to see him as they were traveling through town. I think they had a wedding out east of here.
Oh, yeah.
But it was great. The good news is, and I've heard this from a lot of manufacturers now, is that talked about chip shortage seems to be over.
Yep.
So that's not going to affect our hobby, other than what Jennifer brought up last week at the end of the show was there's a lot of stuff still in boats out there at the ports waiting to be unloaded. So there's a lot of new products that were announced in 2021 that we actually don't have on store shelves yet. But I also see that pipeline starting to open up.
That's good.
So things are moving forward.
I just got a phone call today that my day one Bachmann engines are in.
Okay.
So I've been waiting for those for quite a while.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
We just shot the 2022 catalog cover for Bachmann Industries for their corporate catalog. And next week on the show, I will be able to show you that final image on how that came out. And that's going to run in the March What's Neat video on how the scene was built. And the one special thing about that photograph and something that they're really presenting, and this is what I like about the show, is we get to show new products all the time. Literally, we don't have to wait 3 months to show it to you. It's immediate. This is a new Easy Track that's about to come out from Bachmann Industries, and this is cement. And the reason they're doing the cement ties now is to correlate with these Bachmann Charger locomotives, the Acela, and all the types of high-speed trains that do run on the concrete track, because it's so much more stable and more, safer than the old wooden ties that rot. This cement doesn't. So hats off to Bachmann for coming out with this new line of Easy Track. That line's been out there for a long time, guys. That original photograph that I made for them back in 2021, from the carpet to your imagination,
That's
Easy
my
Track will
favorite
take
ad.
you there.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. That thing sold a lot of track. I love that one. We're going to have Denny Yelsma here at the show in February. He called me up this week and said he's going to come out and join us sometime in February and hang out here at the podcast table with us, and I look forward to taking him out to dinner. That'll be fun. So you guys went on a trip to Chicago. You want to talk about that?
We sure did. It was right before Christmas. Mike and I were talking. We haven't done anything for a while, so we said, let's go up and go to Lombard Hobbies. So we headed out early in the morning. We were reached out by Lance Libanowski of the Will County Model Railroad Association, and he was gracious enough to invite us to see the layout.
Nice.
Here's a couple pictures of it. We really had a great time. We also met Mark Tracy, who is also a member there, and they were just very warm and welcoming and just such a great layout. I know that they have taken the layout and brought it to other model railroad shows and stuff. I believe you've interviewed them in the past.
I have.
Very nice layout. From there, we decided to go to Lombard, and here's some pictures of us at Lombard. A really great place. I bought some signals from Atlas, the 3-signal thing. Found a great book all about my DeSoto here in Missouri.
Yeah.
Had to drive all the way to Chicago to find a book about DeSoto.
Yeah, I see.
But it
those
shows
books around.
everything from the depot to the roundhouse. It gives me so much to go on for my layout and just laying out where everything was. So that was great. After that, we were a little hungry, so we went to Super Dog. Never been there before. Great.
You were showing me a picture of that.
They don't put mustard on, or they don't put ketchup on the hot dogs.
Right.
You can get ketchup for your fries, but they refuse to put it on the hot dog. So beware.
Who would do that?
But from there, we
wife
came
does.
home, and Mike got this great shot of the windmills in lower.
Oh, this is beautiful
lower
footage.
Illinois.
Was this sunset?
Yeah, it was right before
Look at that.
sunset.
And you were shooting out the car window?
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And you're training in this somewhere?
No.
No.
Maybe in the distance.
No, if there was
there
one
was
actually in the
way
back
in the
seat that
distance.
we had just bought up there.
That is beautiful footage.
Closest
All
thing
those
to it.
things just spinning out there like that.
It was a great time. So
Guys,
Yeah,
it sounded
was.
like
It
it
was a
was
lot of
fun.
yeah, lots of
Well,
fun.
we're going to go to Texas this weekend.
Yeah, but with the snow and
yeah.
everything, we decided it'd be safer to stay here and do the show with you than go down there.
Right.
Sorry to Chris Atkins and everybody that David Hyde, I believe we're going to go see his stuff. And yeah, sorry, but it's much safer up here than driving down through that. So
when it's warm, we'll go down there sometime.
yeah, absolutely.
I was talking to Dave and Deb Zucker today and their son Mike. And speaking of Texas, they wanted me to read off some of the show dates of shows that they've got coming up here in January. One of the biggest ones, of course, is Amherst. Great big show. I think Denny's going to that. Everybody we know is going to that. That's the one main show now where things are getting back to normal.
We need to get our act together and go next year.
Maybe we can fly. I just don't want to drive up there during the winter. It's a long, scary time to drive.
I know it's probably an hour flight.
Scary time to fly.
That show is January 29th and 30th, the Amherst Railway Society Railroad Hobby Show in Springfield, Massachusetts. I've been to that show. I went to that show about 15 years ago when my ex-wife had those flight benefits, and it was amazing to see that much square footage of trains. It's a very large.
Grown since then, too.
Yes. Spring Creek's booth will be section 104 in the Stroh building. Look up Dave. Look up Deb. They all want to say hi to their customers. That's the one thing about this family business. They cherish and really appreciate you, the model railroaders, that help support them. And they are a family business. Jeff, Mike, Deb, Dave, they're all great people. Plus, their grandchildren are now helping in the store. So it's truly a family operation out there in the middle of nowhere in Deshler, Nebraska.
Man, this huge store out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
The next show that we've got is the North Texas Console Train Show, and that is in Plano, Texas, and that's going to be January 15th and 16th.
That's the one we were supposed to go to. That's today.
Is that the one you were going to?
That's today.
That's on the list.
Yeah.
You're right. Today's the 16th. All right, scratch that. You can't go to that one. And the next one I've got written down here is February 5th and 6th. They're going to be at two different train shows that week, and that a lot of times they do that.
Yeah.
Dave will go to one city, Deb will go to another. They split up the operation, and they work hard that way. And this is, again, February 5th and 6th at Wichita Train Show and Swap Meet in Wichita, Kansas. That's called the Great Scale Model Train and Railroad Collector Show. And that is, I see here, Timonium, Maryland?
Maryland, yeah.
Correct. So, rock and roll guys, say hi to them for us. They're great people, and they do help us support the best hobby in the world on this show, and we really appreciate that. Thank you so much. What else do we have on the list? We talked about Kirkwood Station, which I can't stop talking about. Can I talk about that again?
Yeah. I can't wait to see that.
Denny Yelsma sent us a hat, a camouflage hat, and I don't have it on the table. I was wondering why he sent it. I thought we were
It's
going to
actually
sign
there.
it.
You can't see it because it's camouflage.
Is it? But Denny wanted us to talk about this show this week is brought to you by the letter A. That's James Regeer's line.
That's right.
But Denny wanted us to talk about, in fact, the letter A that he's got on his website at yelsmagraphics.com. You know, he makes all these wonderful jackets. I've got the Santa Fe one right here, which is in fact Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe. And as you can see on the screen next to us here, we're going to start with the Santa Fe Railroad for the letter A. Again, Atchison, Topeka, Santa Fe is the true name of the railroad. I heard Gene singing a song about that a little earlier. It was kind of cute. There it is. Nobody's ever sang on the show before. We're going to find, oh man, people are going to love you, Gene. This is awesome. Let me start screen capture and let's see what we've got in the letter A for Denny's material. 3, 2, just like that. Starting out with the, and again, these are the embroidered. This is not printed.
Right.
This is stitched. I mean, the threads are gorgeous. They shine. We've talked about it before, and this is jacket season, and I've been wearing a lot of my jackets going out this week.
Me too.
I get so many people at these establishments that I go to meet new friends, and that's all they do is they see the YouTube logo, and they want to ask me, what is it that I do with regards to YouTube? It's a fascinating subject matter and a great way to make conversation.
Yeah.
And I've met so many people, you have no idea. The Christmas trains around the tree. Everybody can relate to that.
Right.
I met one individual, a girl named Michelle, and her grandfather owned the very first train store here in St. Louis.
Wow.
And they've got black and whites. They've got footage of that. And at some point, I'd like to bring her on the show to tell her
That would
story.
be very cool.
What was the name of that show? It was called Gilbert's.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
It was Johnson's. It was Johnson's Train Shop.
okay.
I went to it in the 60s. My father took me there.
Yeah,
and
I
it was
remember
literally
that.
opened in 1932, right around the same time that Model Railroader magazine got established.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got to understand that this is a depression-oriented hobby. It's always been that way. When the economy gets tough, our hobby flourishes. Look at COVID. 14 months of great sales for our industry because
people are staying home.
at home doing their passion. I got a little distracted here. I just held up this one, the Santa Fe FP45 and the SD60s.
I like that head-on version. That's
Right, here's the PA unit. There's a lot of neat stuff. He's got the Blue Goose, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I had that model. Challenger Imports made that. Can I show that? The cornfield shot of the Challenger.
Yeah,
Of this
look at that.
Blue Goose. It's called the Blue Goose locomotive. It was absolutely beautiful. And Santa Fe had painted up this locomotive in turquoise. And then they had put stainless steel panels on the side of it. And it was during the streamline era when everybody was streamlining their locomotives. So that's another logo that you can have printed on a jacket. And look at the F7s. And the dome car.
Wow.
Yeah, that war bonnet logo was
Yeah, look at all these.
withstood the test of time.
Yeah, they really went through some different logos, didn't they?
And there's only 2 pages of A to look at tonight, but we got the Alaska Railroad,
Yeah, I
Right?
just saw
Very
Ann
nice.
Arbor.
Alco, the Alco
Yeah.
demonstrator logos. I just know a light blue over here in the studio.
All the Southern.
Atlantic Coastlines. Denny, this is amazing. You've got over 1,300 logos on your website. I don't know how you keep track of all it, but you do a good job, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And we can't wait to have you in St. Louis here coming up in February to be on the show with us. Atlantic Coastline, look at that, GP7s.
Wow.
So check them out at yelsma.com, Denny Yelsma, Yelsma Graphics. Give him a shout, call him on the phone, tell him you've seen it on the What's Neat show. He's one of our favorites. And thank you, Denny, for helping us support the best hobby in the world.
Absolutely.
So, Mike, what did you bring tonight, buddy?
Coil cars. I have a whole bunch of these that I detailed a long time ago. Really, these are some old projects, but since I'm always interested in the automotive industry and tri-levels and everything, this kind of ties in. The steel going in and the cars coming out. But
There you go.
that first car there is an old Lionel covered coil car that probably every kid has seen different versions of that. But I was always intrigued by the prototype, and actually they didn't keep their hoods for very long. They took those hoods off because they were jamming and getting stuck and stuff. So they ran them open like this model here. I tried to detail it out a little bit by putting the cushion under frame and the cut bars and stuff on it. But actually those cars ran a long time and eventually ended up in P&LE paint like this. And I don't know, we haven't seen them for a long time now, but
Right.
I modeled 1978 and those things were everywhere when I was modeling. And then these are just a couple of run-of-the-mill gondolas, Chicago South Shore, and then a patched Penn Central or Conrail. And one thing I tried to do when before I even put the coils in was kind of detail the cradles out and put a lot of junk and debris inside there, so Ken can get some B-roll of that. But then the way I rusted my coils is after I painted them, I took a piece of brown chalk and rubbed it on a piece of paper. Then I took the coils and rolled them over that, and it gave pretty realistic scratch marks, So anyway, that's something a little different
Now,
from me.
how long and what time period did they start with those dome tops? Because I've never seen any kind
Yeah.
of dome top on those.
That was kind of in the '60s when they first came out, and then even with the tops, the dome tops, that caused problems sometimes. If the coils were still hot, there would be a lot of condensation inside, and would start to rust the sheets, but or the rolls. But they still ship them like this today.
Yeah,
so
I've
really
seen them
just
with
putting-
open top.
Yeah, they mainly do it like this. I don't know if there's very many that have the covered tops, but
Yeah.
in the '70s it was always fun to see the mixed up tops because they didn't try and get the right covers back on the right cars. They
Right.
just gave up after a while, and there were some pretty interesting looking combinations.
Huh.
So anyway.
Dude, it just amazes me. Your weathering, your oil paints, the way you just use basic things, chalks, pieces of rust
Foil.
off the bottom of car, foil.
that's what's-
I mean,
yeah.
Mike, one man's trash is your
Yeah.
art. Is
Yeah,
that
the rust on the bottom of these cars is actually rust from a real car.
Really?
I ground up and powdered in there. So
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Okay, guys, I'm going to say one more time around the table, we covered everything tonight.
I think so.
I guess so. Yeah.
I know it's a short show, but there's snow on the ground. We're lucky that we had who came here tonight to come hang out. I really appreciate
Right.
it. The show always must go on. A lot of neat stuff is coming up here the rest of the month. We got some great stuff coming out from Intermountain next week. And I get to have a couple of days off with my wonderful daughter as I get to hang out with her for the next 10 days.
Nice.
So this is going to be fun. I'm going to
Nice.
put her to work down here making trees. So guys, let's take the NCE Power Cab, the Hammerhead, and you and me and Joshua. And guess what? We're going to get Gene to run some trains
That's
tonight. Right? All right. Best hobby in the
Thanks,
world
guys.
with the best people in it.
See you later.
Did I mention we're going to go run some trains? All right, we need a thumbnail. Keep camera one rolling. Don't stop. Thank you, Gene, very much for doing camera for us. It was a pleasure to have you. And what are we holding up today?
Come around here and stand.
Oh, you get to be in the thumbnail with
Let's
us.
just
yeah.
wave. Let's just
Watch
wave.
that cord right there.
Yeah, we don't have to be holding
Just
anything
smile and thumbs up. Oh, there you go. Okay, ready? All right, we got the thumbnail.
Perfect.
Good job. Keep camera rolling. I'll kill sound.
Yay.
Tell me 20 minutes isn't a nice number.
20 minutes is a nice round number.
Oh, it was a good one. We covered everything. It looks smooth, too.
Yeah, it was real nice. As always.
Yes. Never take it for granted.
That's right.
Give me a high five, Mike.
Hey, all right.
Good job.
Yeah.
Joshua, good job, buddy.
It always works out.
Yay. Gene, give me a hug. Hug. We're on camera, and then we're rolling credits through all this, and it's all awesome. Thank you for doing that for us. You did a great job. All right, guys, we did it. Camera 2 is dead. Sound is off.
Yeah, I'm going to leave here shortly.
That hot date, do you?
Yep, with a really nice model.
Ah.
Oh, the roundhouse.